Hey guys, welcome back to Loft Sports. I'm Tyler.
I'm Seth.
Today we're going to be looking at our Week 3 reaction video. Third week of the 2019 college football season in the books. No ranked versus ranked games this past weekend, but there were some big results.
Yeah, I mean, I think the game of the week, Iowa held on. Great game against Iowa State. They were able to come back late. That's kind of where it starts for me.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa, this was a weird game. Couple of long weather delays. They finally get to finish the game. Iowa State gets the stop. The guy ends up running into his own guy. Fumble on the punt. Iowa holds on for like fourth or fifth straight year. Poor Iowa State just couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
Disappointing for Iowa State. Big win on the road for Iowa.
Yeah, unfortunately, that gives them a 3-0 start to the year.
Yeah, the Big Ten West kind of needed that, though. Another surprising result staying in the Big Ten. Michigan State loses at home to Arizona State.
The Spartans team, I truly don't understand. They have such a great defense, but their offense, I mean, it might not even be a good Division II or Division III offense. They couldn't even score a touchdown at home against a Pac-12 team that's not known for being a good defensive conference and definitely not a good defensive team in that conference. It's not like this was freaking Utah and they can't even score at home. It's shocking to me.
This completely changes my take on Michigan State.
It does,
I had them winning 10 games this year.
I had them finishing second in the East.
Yeah, dark horse for a playoff or a big-time bowl game. Scratch all that. Michigan State season is over. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. Kudos to Arizona State, though. They sweep the home-and-home with Michigan State. A little bit of a shout-out to Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, Les Miles is proving that year-one coaches can have success. Scott Frost. Just proving that, you can take over a very bad situation and do what you need to do to grind out wins.
And this is a damaging loss for Boston College. Not that they had any aspirations of a magical season, but Kansas lost at home to an FCS team last week, and then they get doubled up. No, last week. Coastal Carolina beat Kansas in Lawrence.
Yeah.
And Boston College comes out and not only gets beat, but they get doubled up at home. Boston College, Steve Adazio might be on his way out up there in Chestnut Hill.
Potentially.
Penn State grinds out a win over their arch-rival Pitt.
Good game. Another one of those games kind of had a delay, those weird starts. Penn State did what I thought they were going to do, though. I didn't think they were going to score as much as they had been scoring. Pitt's a very tough team. I give Narduzzi a lot of credit. He might do some bonehead things during the game, management-wise, but his team is a tough out, and once again, they proved it against a Penn State team that's probably better than I was giving them credit for to start the year.
Yeah, Penn State with a nice win. Agree with the Narduzzi comment. His team's a tough team to beat, but why you're kicking a field goal in the fourth quarter from the 1.5 yard line, if you can't, they had first and goal at the 1 and couldn't score, you don't deserve it.
And let's be honest, too, this is Pitt, a team that's known for being a tough, physical team. It kind of goes completely against your identity.
Yeah, Penn State with a potential to make up some ground, especially with Michigan State sliding.
Yeah.
UCF absolutely crushes Stanford.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Stanford was going to find a way to win that game. I thought that it had potential to go this way. I just didn't really see it going that way. I was wrong. I'll have to admit that. UCF is just continuing to be the force that they've been the last couple years. I don't think too many teams in the country outside of the top 3 or 4 want to see them on their schedule.
No, UCF is very much in rhythm right now.
Yeah.
And not that they're going to make the playoff because they're just not going to get the credit that they need.
Going to.
But they are rolling right now as a program, and I wouldn't want to play them either right now.
Yeah, they're a good team.
BYU, maybe with the win of the day, knocks off USC in overtime.
Yeah, I mean, win of the day, whatever. I know USC's ranked, but USC hasn't been very good last couple of years. BYU, it's not like they're a stranger to taking down these big-name schools. But it was a very good win for them. USC had been playing good. BYU's not having the same type of year they normally do, but they took it to USC. Sometimes I think those pretty Trojan boys don't like a tough physical fight, and proved it once again.
I will say this, BYU, if they can get past Washington this week, they have a real chance to get into a solid New Year's Six Bowl. Outside chance. A lot would have to happen, but an outside chance at the playoff. Their schedule they've got some Power 5 teams if you look at their schedule coming
Still,
up.
I think the playoff committee has shown that you have to be at a certain spot to start the year or in a Power 5 conference with the championship game to have
it would take an immense amount, but it's not totally out of the question. They're in better shape than some of these other teams.
4% chance.
Maybe not even that, but there's an outside chance. Florida and Kentucky.
Yeah.
Big time SEC East showdown. Kentucky was the better team. They wanted it more. They played better, and they still found a way to lose.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that goes to show you where kind of Kentucky's at after last year. Still some of that same mentality, that same capability is still there, but where they had it last year, they just don't this year in some of those close games. Florida's got a backup quarterback, comes in, completely turned the game around for them, leads them to a nice comeback victory, and Dan Mullen, I thought they were going to be a lot better this year for sure. I have them as my third best team in the SEC. They might not even be the fifth best team right
They might
now.
not be the fifth best team in their division. Well, Tennessee's pretty bad. And Tennessee did get a big win over Chattanooga. Congratulations to Tennessee knocking off the powerhouse UT Chattanooga. Who looked good this weekend?
Gosh, I keep saying it every week because I'm waiting for them to have moments like they had last year. I'm going to just continue to say Ohio State just looks incredibly impressive. They keep jumping up my board as one that I have them now as my fourth best team in the country. They're just continuing that momentum. The defense does not have the same lapses they had last year. That defensive line is dominant as ever. They're playing with more confidence. I really like that Ohio State team.
I want to give a shout out to Kansas State. I know Mississippi State's not where they were a couple years ago,
Sure.
but first-year head coach, they go on the road, win a big game against an SEC opponent that was undefeated. So Kansas State might be a team that could maybe sneak up on some of these Big 12 teams. Good win for the Wildcats. Who looked bad?
I'm going to keep it in the Big Ten and say Maryland. I mean, Maryland was putting up a bunch of points. I knew it was kind of flukish because where Maryland's been at the last couple years. But they looked really bad against Temple. It just, that offense completely went away. I think we've just now known that maybe that was all kind of a fluke. They're going to be a good offense, but top 5 offense in the country, I don't think so. I'm going to stick with another team here. I'm going to talk about Colorado after a tough overtime comeback victory against my Nebraska Cornhuskers. Laid a complete egg against Air Force. Definitely had me a little worried because they lost to Air Force before we played our game against Northern Illinois, and I was like, oh my gosh, are they that bad? And then we they had a close game against us and beat us, but they looked really bad against Air Force. I thought they could challenge in the Pac-12. It doesn't look like it now.
My team is NC State. I mean, they're starting to build up this hype up the road in Raleigh about maybe they can contend for a potential 9-10 win season. Yeah. Then they come out and they get completely creamed by West Virginia, who has not looked very impressive to start the season. So Wolfpack, BC, Virginia Tech, the whole ACC looks terrible right now outside of Clemson and maybe Virginia.
Yeah, Clemson, Virginia, and then it's just a smattering of garbage.
Wake Forest is 3-0, so I guess there's hope for them.
It's Wake Forest.
True. Who's your player of the week?
I got to give a shout out to Jalen Hurts here. Basically, chased out of Alabama, finds a good spot for him in Oklahoma. And now I know it's a very quarterback-friendly system, but you still have to be efficient. I question how efficient even he could be in this system. But right now, he's got one more touchdown than incompletions this year, and he is leading that team. That offense has not dropped off one bit. I'm really glad to see him in a position where he's succeeding again and having a great year so far. I'm going to give it to him.
My player of the week is Anthony Gordon, a name that people might get more familiar with as the season goes on. Yeah. Quarterback at Washington State. This was a sneaky game for the Cougars, neutral site game technically, but in the city of Houston against a pesky a group of 5 team. He had 440 yards and 3 touchdowns. You expect that a little bit in a Mike Leach system, but he leads the Cougars to a big round conference.
Just reloading, recycling that quarterback cash that he just has an abundance of.
Washington State, second best team in the Pac-12. They're the next best chance behind Utah at a playoff spot.
Better than Oregon?
Better than Oregon. All right, this is Loft Sports signing off.